Come one, come all, and listen to a tale. The party wakes up in the bandit base after exterminating the bandits and defeating the 3 assassins. They ride back to Hope's Landing, the captured assassin Alecto on the back of their cart. In the distance, another cart races towards Hope's Landing, and Boondock's brand begins to glow. Boondock realizes that Legion is the one driving the cart towards his home. The party speeds forward, trying to stop her, and Essen manages to fire a crossbow bolt into one of her wheels, sending her cart to a screeching halt. The party surrounds the cart, firing their weapons at Legion, but Legion doesn't so much as flinch as she is riddled with bullet holes. Essen calls for a ceasefire as he heard thumping from inside the cart, but before being able to investigate, 3 zombified monkeys burst out, vaulting all over Essen and attacking the rest of the party. The party defends themselves as Legion explains, "I thought I would give you a sampler of what's to come. These 3 are just grunts in the undead army I've given Mr. Salt." Oh, and now we have a message for the sheriff of Hope's Landing. If you really want to keep playing hero, then let the people of Hope's Landing deliver your corpse to us by sundown. Because if I sense that you're still alive with that brand I placed on you, then hell's coming for every person in Hope's Landing. Legion lets out a maniacal cackle before transforming into a cloud of flame and flying away. Boondock, now pissed off, is easily able to defeat the zombie monkeys. Afterwards, Essen asks them if they're actually considering sacrificing themselves. Boondock scoffs and says, "Course not. A man like Mr. Salt would never be true to his word. Only thing to do now is to defend the town." The party rushes back into Hope's Landing, and Boondock gathers the residents in the tavern. After explaining that an army would be attacking the town at sundown, the townsfolk were terrified and wanted to leave. Juliet, enraged at the people's willingness to let their home burn, screams out, "Do you people really want to live the rest of your lives as cowards?" To which one of the townsfolk replies, "Yeah, 'cause at least we'll still have our lives." After some arguing back and forth, Ma Boondock comes up with a plan that Titus should lead the children and the sick out of the town, while everyone else stays and defends it, thinking that if they all left, then the army would just follow them. Juliet then takes a moment to call Faith, who's currently riding as fast as she can towards Hope's Landing, telling Faith to dump the alcohol Cass was going to give her to make room for the refugees. Faith obliges, and Juliet lets out a deep sigh over the loss of her alcohol. Boondock, realizing that they need all the help they can get, ungags Alecto, who immediately begins to spit vitriol at them. Boondock firmly tells Alecto to listen, and explains that one of 2 things is going to happen. Either she's going to help defend the town, or she's going to remain tied up and be used as bait against the army. Realizing Boondock is serious, Alecto agrees to help defend. Juliet tries to help by scouting out the graveyard she saw near the church. From a distance, the place looks empty, so Juliet decides to investigate further. The graves seem fresh, and Juliet creates an alarm system by gathering twigs, planting them in the ground, and then tying the twigs to the large church bell. If anything comes up from the ground, the townsfolk will be alerted. After this, she glances around the graveyard and sees a huge mausoleum. Having read enough books about the undead, Juliet assumes this is where the strongest zombie would come out and decides to try and weaken it before it could awaken. Picking the locks with her swift fingers, Juliet finds a single coffin inside. She opens it to see the remains of a man clutching a guntar and delicately swipes the weapon, before proceeding to tie the coffin closed. After strapping the guntar to her back and dusting off her hands, she makes her way back to the tavern, feeling proud of herself for defeating the evil before it gets to town. As Boondock watches Juliet strut up to the tavern, their eyes widen as they notice their father's guntar strapped to Juliet's back. Ma grits her teeth and asks, "What are you doing with my dead husband's guntar?" Juliet gapes, realizing that she just grave-robbed Boondock's dad, and apologizes profusely. Ma relaxes a little, deciding to give Juliet the benefit of the doubt. Juliet hands the guntar to Boondock, who uncertainly accepts it. Ma hugs Boondock tight, telling them, "That guntar always should have been yours. But in the flurry of activity after your pa passed, I didn't get a chance to hand it off to you." Boondock quietly nods. Ma asks if they want to play that tune Pa taught them. Sighing, Boondock shakes their head no, saying they need some time to think. They head back inside the tavern, guntar in hand, and sit staring at it distractedly. In the meantime, Essen and Morgan are outside, trying to train the townsfolk. While Essen is trying to teach them the basics of handling melee weapons, Morgan tries to teach them how to handle a gun, telling them, "Point the end of the gun towards the bad guys, then pull the trigger." However, the townsfolk are disheartened, worried about their town and family, and seeing their sheriff lost in thought does nothing to ease their worries. Essen, handing off his role to Juliet, approaches Boondock, who is fidgeting with the guntar in their hands. Essen kneels in front of Boondock, asking, "So, the guntar was your father's?" As Boondock meekly replies, "Yeah, called it the devil's hand. Should still be with him." Essen continues, "I know it must be hard to relive these old memories, and I can't imagine the pain you must be feeling. But right now, your town and your people need you to defend them. And isn't that what your father would have wanted you to use this for?" Gesturing towards the guntar. Boondock finally looks up, and, with a renewed purpose in their eyes, nods. Everyone currently training pauses as Boondock walks out of the tavern, the devil's hand fixed to their back. Boondock scans the crowd with a stare that could shake the devil, and the townsfolk get back to training with a renewed vigor. Boondock gives a stoic nod to the sight, and Ma beams. With a sharp whistle, Boondock gathers up the party to discuss a strategy. While the party is gathered, Ma suggests that since Mr. Salt is sending most of his army to Hope's Landing, the party should hunt down Mr. Salt in the mines, while the townspeople defend Hope's Landing. Mr. Salt would be vulnerable, and they might be able to stop whatever is spawning the undead attackers. The party agrees, with Juliet barely able to meet Ma's gaze, still feeling guilty about grave robbing. As the party breaks to prepare for the attack at sundown, Juliet once again profusely apologizes to Ma, asking if there's anything she can do to make it up to her. Ma thinks for a moment, before saying, "How's about this then? When you hunt down Mr. Salt, you make sure that son of a bitch gets everything coming to him, and bring me back his eyeballs. Do that, and we're perfectly square." Juliet promises that she'll do everything to make sure Mr. Salt is stopped, and deliver his eyeballs to Ma. Ma laughs and gives Juliet a hearty slap on the back. Now fast approaching sundown, the party is ready to head out to complete their mission. All of the townsfolk have gathered to see the party off, and Boondock addresses them, saying, "We won't be gone long. Till then, keep the town safe." Ma smiles and responds with, "Course we will. Now go give 'em some hell, Boondock." Boondock nods and the five ride out towards Mr. Salt's mines. As they ride, Juliet cautiously tries to see if Boondock is still mad at her. Boondock gives a dismissive grunt before riding a little faster. Juliet takes that as a yes. When the party nears the church, they hear something in the distance and all hide. An army of undead marches out from the mine, heading towards Hope's Landing. The party waits with bated breath, hoping to sneak by. The army passes without noticing them, but Juliet realizes that her alarm system will not work and manually rings the bell to warn the town. The group then rushes towards the mines, ready to confront Mr. Salt and Legion. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, which are linked in the description. If you like our content, please consider supporting us on Patreon, also linked in the description. Thanks again!